طريق القدس يمر بالقلمون وبالزبداني وبحمص.
طريق فلسطين لا ما بتمر بالزبداني ودمشق.
Good afternoon, Friday, July 24th. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and these are today's top stories. Municipalities in Mount Lebanon began collecting waste as a temporary solution to a growing environmental crisis erupts after the closure of the Niamey landfill. Maronite Patriarch Shaddai stresses that Christians will not be granted all their rights if a new president is not elected. And Turkish fighter jets bombed positions of ISIS inside Syria for the first time in retaliation for the killing of a Turkish soldier in cross-border clashes. A few municipalities in Mount Lebanon began collecting garbage as a temporary solution to a growing environmental crisis in this hot summer heat that erupted after the closure of the Niamey landfill south of Beirut last week. The number, however, of municipalities which met the demands of Environment Minister Mohammed al-Mashnout were limited. Beirut Municipal Chief Bilal Hammoud told Voice of Lebanon Radio this morning that the capital does not have uninhibited areas that would be able to temporarily pile Beirut's waste. He also criticized officials outside Beirut for refusing to dump the waste in their areas. He was, of course, referring to the northern district of Akkad, which has been seen as an area that can receive most of this waste. But the proposal has been rejected outright by residents and several Akkad lawmakers. Mashnout told Al-Nahar that he would work within 15 days to announce the names of firms that have won tenders to find locations of new landfills. Following a cabinet session on Thursday, Mashnout estimated the amount of trash currently on the streets to be at 22,000 tons. The Niamey landfill opened in 1997. It was meant to receive trash from Beirut and the heavily populated Mount Lebanon area for only a few years until a comprehensive solution was devised. But that plan never came to fruition. As nearly 20 years ticked by, the valley that was originally expected to receive only 2 million tons has now over 15 million. The landfill was closed on July 17th. Maronite Patriarch Shaddai is stressing that Christians will not be granted all their rights if a new president is not elected promptly. Close sources to Rai said he informed all officials who have recently met him that there is no solution to the rights of Christians before a head of state is elected. He stressed that no one can eliminate the Christians from Lebanon or the Arab world, saying the group's presence is an urgent necessity for the region. Describing the presence of Christians in the region as a need and an urgent necessity, he said the Arab world needs to ask itself what its destiny would be without all religions. Lebanese Forces leader Samia Gerja says Iran benefits from the ongoing presidential vacuum in Lebanon and seeks to weaken the Lebanese government through Hezbollah. Tehran, he says, does not want the Lebanese government to be in a strong position because it benefits Hezbollah, allowing them to maintain control over strategic decisions. He said Iran would also seek to achieve more gains as a result of a recently inked nuclear deal between Tehran and 6 world countries. Gerja hailed Saudi Arabia's role in the Middle East. He said, unlike Tehran, Riyadh acts in self-defense, and we should not be underestimated that or the Gulf states, adding that Riyadh often looks to peaceful solutions. Turkish fighter jets bombed positions of Islamic State jihadists inside Syria for the first time in a dramatic escalation of fighting after the killing of a Turkish soldier in cross-border clashes. 3 Turkish F-16s took off from the southeastern Turkish city of Diyarbakir for an early morning bombing raid against 3 ISIS targets, dropping 4 guided bombs. The operation came after the first major cross-border clashes between Turkey and ISIS on Thursday left 1 Turkish soldier and 1 militant dead, thrusting Turkey into an open conflict with ISIS. The bombing raid was the first by the Turkish Air Force on ISIS since the Islamists began their advance across Iraq and Syria in 2013, seizing control of swaths of territory right up to the Turkish border. It also comes as Turkey, after months of negotiations, finally gave the green light for the U.S. to use a key airbase in its south for its airstrikes against ISIS. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry defended the nuclear agreement reached with Iran in Vienna in a Senate hearing, reading aloud from statements by past Israeli intelligence officials who praised the deal. The deal will take effect unless Congress blocks it, and Republicans in control of the House and Senate have made it clear they intend to try to do so in September.
Now, if the U.S. Congress moves to unilaterally reject what was agreed to in Vienna, the result will be the United States of America walking away from every one of the restrictions that we have achieved, and a great big green light for Iran to double the pace of its uranium enrichment, proceed full speed ahead with a heavy water reactor, install new and more efficient centrifuges, and do it all without the unprecedented inspection and transparency measures that we have secured. The only viable option here is a comprehensive diplomatic resolution of the type that is reached in Vienna. And that deal, we believe we will show it to you today and in the days ahead, will make our country and our allies safer. It will ensure that Iran's nuclear program remains under intense scrutiny forever, and we will know what they are doing. And it will ensure that the world community is united in ensuring that Iran's nuclear activities will remain wholly peaceful, even as we also stay united in pushing back against its other activities in the region which we object to. The comment was made that, naive if you think this is a good deal. This is an article from the Washington Post. I urge you all to read it. How the Iran deal is good for Israel, according to Israelis who know what they're talking about. I urge you to read it. It says here, a host of prominent members of the country's security establishment have come out at various stages of negotiations in support of the Obama administration's efforts. In an interview this week with the Daily Beast, Ami Ayalan, former head of Shin Bet, or Israel's top domestic security agency, suggested Israel's politicians were playing with fears in a fearful society. He praised the Vienna Agreement as a useful measure to curb the Iranian threat. I don't think he's naive.
Coming up next, a Border Patrol union pulls out of events involving Donald Trump, the presidential contender charged ahead with his visit to the Mexican border. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the 4:20 o'clock news here on Future Television. Kenya's capital of Nairobi has been given a major makeover ahead of the U.S. President Barack Obama's first visit to the country. Obama's 4-day trip and preparations for his visit are in top gear. A beautification project dubbed Obamacare by locals is estimated to cost around $500,000 US. Obama's first visit to Kenya as the U.S. president has been described as historic by the people from all swaths of society in the East African nation. The trip will focus on security and economic initiatives as the president shores up his legacy on the African continent. U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter is meeting with Iraqi Kurdish leaders in their regional capital city of Erbil. Carter arrived on a military flight from Amman, Jordan, where he spent the night after holding meetings and giving a pep talk to U.S. troops in Baghdad on Thursday. In Erbil, Carter met with Masoud Barzani, president of the Kurdish regional government, and other Kurdish government and military officials. The U.S. is helping train and equip Kurdish armed forces known as the Peshmerga in battles against Islamic State fighters. Police released new details in the early hours after a preliminary investigation into the shooting at a Louisiana movie theater. It left 3 people dead, including the gunman himself. Gunfire erupted during a 7 p.m. showing of the film Trainwreck. 2 people died in the hail of bullets before the 58-year-old suspect killed himself with a handgun. The shootings took place almost 3 years to the day after 12 people were killed at a cinema in Aurora, Colorado, and follows several mass shootings in the United States in recent weeks. A Border Patrol union pulled out of events involving Donald Trump as the Republican presidential contender charged ahead with his visit at the Mexican border. The billionaire businessman and reality TV host has roiled the presidential race by branding Mexican immigrants as rapists and criminals, sparking a feud with his Republican rivals. Patrol agents has planned to accompany Trump to the border and hold a meeting with him, but they canceled after consultations with their national union, the National Border Patrol Council. Trump added that he believes he will win the Republican nomination for president and will defeat Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton, whom he called the worst Secretary of State in history.
I think I'll win the Hispanic vote. You know, I have thousands of Mexicans and Hispanics, and I think when it comes right down, I don't know if you saw the poll, but they just did a big poll in Nevada, the state of Nevada, and I'm way ahead, and more importantly, as far as I'm concerned, I'm way ahead with the Hispanics, well into the 30s, which, and I think second is like 11. So I have a great relationship. Over the years, thousands and thousands of Hispanics have worked for me and now work for me, and the relationship is very good. Question, as you know, the Border Patrol was the one that invited me. I think most of you have that invitation. We sent it. The Border Patrol invited me, and then they canceled because, frankly, they don't want to get involved. They know the problem. The reason they invited me was because of the tremendous problem and the tremendous crime and all of the things that you're talking about. So they invited me, and then at the last moment, I mean, we were virtually in the air, and they said, we can't get involved. And I heard they got those orders from Washington. I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative, I'm running, I'm in first place by a lot, it seems, according to all the polls. I want to run as a Republican. I think I'll get the nomination. We'll see soon enough, but I think I'll get the nomination. The best way to win is for me to get the nomination and run probably against Hillary. Hillary is the worst, look, easily. She's the worst Secretary of State in the history of our country. She's going to be beaten, and I'm the one to beat her. And I will take jobs back. And the reason I won with the Hispanic vote, and I win all over with the Hispanic vote, because they know I'll take jobs back from China, I'll take jobs back from Japan, and every other country that's killing us. I'll bring the jobs back, and you know, the Hispanics are going to get those jobs, and they're going to love Trump, and they already do.
Bono, the lead singer of the group U2, who has had problems with his own vision, is partnering with a company to provide better eye care to the underprivileged. The Buy Vision Gift Side campaign with eyewear brand Revo is designed to raise $10 million for screening, eyeglasses, and other assistance to the impoverished. Revo will donate $10 for each pair of eyeglasses it sells, and the U2 frontman will introduce his own line of Revo sunglasses, which he has been wearing on U2's sold-out tour in the fall. Bono, who was diagnosed with glaucoma 2 decades ago, says his eyesight is okay now, but in a Thursday statement, he said tens of millions of people around the world with sight problems don't have access to glasses or even a basic eye test. He called sight a human right. This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. A few municipalities in Mount Lebanon begin collecting waste as a temporary solution to the environmental crisis that erupted after the closure of the Neamia landfill. Maronite Patriarch Shaddai says Christians will not be granted all their rights if a new president is not elected. And Turkish fighter jets bomb positions of ISIS inside Syria for the first time in retaliation for the killing of a Turkish soldier in cross-border clashes. Those are your Friday headlines. Keep cool this hot weekend and have a very nice one. We'll see you again tomorrow.
طريق القدس يمر بالقلمون وبالزبداني وبحمص.
طريق فلسطين لا ما بتمر بالزبداني ودمشق.